Hello everyone, my name is Alvaro Sabu, I'm the author of TresJS, and today I want to show you how to transform this into this. When you're creating 3D scenes on the web by using TresJS or even just 3JS, your scenes at the beginning might look a little bit dull, plain, and that's because we need to add extra configurations to make it more realistic. We have a scene with a sphere and a plane that serves as a floor, and we have some lighting. The problem is that in real world, all the objects that are in the scene with light will cast a shadow, and some of the objects will receive that shadow. In this scene, you can notice that there is no shadows at all. So that's the first thing that we need to achieve. To do that, we're going to go to the app.vue, which is the one containing our trace canvas. So once we enable the shadows, we need to go to the lights and tell which lights we want to cast shadows. So we're going to use the property cast shadow. If I save, we're going to see that there is no change here, right? And that's because we need to add it as well to the objects. So I'm going to go to my trace mesh here, that is the sphere, okay? And I'm just going to add cast shadow. But I also need to tell which objects are going to receive the shadow. So there is another property called receive shadow that I can enable. So once I save, I still see nothing. And that's because we're using a material that doesn't actually play with the lights. So since we are going to do a realistic scene, we're going to change the materials that we have in the scene for another material called Trace Mesh Physical Material. If we save, now we can see that our scene looks quite different. Another thing that we need to play with is some of the properties of the material, because right now we're using a physical material, and materials in the real world have several other properties other than just the color. For example, we can change the roughness of this material. Okay, so we could change the roughness to something like 0.1, and we can also play with the metalness. How metallic or plastic do we want our object to be? So let's just change first the roughness. And you can see now that there is a small dot here that represents where the light is coming. We can also change the metalness, and we can make it like, for example, really metallic. And we are gonna add something that will change the game, which is environment maps or HDR maps, okay? So for that, we have a special component on TresJS CentOS, which is called the environment. So the way to use it is that we're gonna wrap it in a suspense. Why? Because it has an asynchronous operation on the hood. It's gonna load a texture, image texture, okay? It comes with several presets. I'm gonna use the sunset one. So if I hit save and restart, you're gonna see now that there is something reflecting on the material. So you can see that there is like a port here, like a house, and then the sea here. We can actually see it on the background and change this teal color with the actual map. So if I set the background now, you can see the actual port that is reflected on the image. And that's all for today's Mighty Bytes. So I really hope you enjoyed the conference and see you around. Ciao, ciao!